talk about the power being with the people and the people making that clear with their checkbooks as it relates to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. We saw the power of the people over the last few days, and it spoke volumes, and it moved a decision in the right direction. I think that part of where we are now in terms of thinking about what the fight is, it requires us, yes, to understand that we've got this administration and this president in front of us abusing the power that the people vested him with. But we also need to understand that this is bigger than Donald Trump. You know, part of what I write about, this stuff is decades in the making, Rachel. It didn't just happen overnight.
We have major breaking news. It looks like tomorrow, Tuesday night, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air. And this comes after ABC revealed that they had a series of, quote, long, thoughtful conversations with Jimmy Kimmel and his team, also his lawyers. ABC also said that the decision to suspend him was made to, quote, avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. I'm sure this had nothing to do with Disney losing $3.8 billion due to public outcry and backlash. But either way, he will be back on the air, so we're going to see if anything has changed. And I don't think any further legal action is coming. But if you want to stay in the loop, it's a developing situation, you can follow for more.
The Jimmy Kimmel Show is set to return to air on Tuesday, which is great. We love that. They released a statement basically saying that they originally decided to suspend the show because they felt like he had some inflammatory remarks that was increasing the already existing tension across America, and that they felt like it wasn't good for the country. They also said in their statement that they had a lot of thoughtful conversations with Jimmy and that they felt confident about the show being able to return on air. Now, we all know that the real reason is because Disney was losing money at a rapid rate and they just couldn't afford to foot the bill. Now, we know that they were originally asking Jimmy to apologize to the family and to donate money. However, people who know Jimmy said that he was not planning to apologize and he was actually planning to double down on the fact that this was about censorship from the right. Now, I know y'all are going to say that I make everything about race, but I don't know if y'all remember, but in February of this year, Joy Reid, The Readout, this black woman's show, was canceled at MSNBC because of new leadership, quote unquote. And I just wonder, if folks stood behind Joy Reid the same way they stood behind Jimmy Kimmel, would there have been a different outcome? Now, again, I'm glad that Jimmy got his show back on air, but I also want to bring up the fact that there are plenty of Black award-winning talented journalists whose shows get canceled and they never get a second chance. They never get heard. There's no thoughtful conversation. Anyway, just putting it out there for us to think about.
Hi guys, I'm Tina and you're welcome back to the channel. So finally, he's back on our screen after being yanked off ABC over his explosive remark about Charlie Cake. Jimmy Kimmel has officially returned to Jimmy Kimmel's Live. The move has fans split down the middle. Some are thrilled to see their late-night favorite return, while others are calling this the biggest mistake Disney could ever make. With Disney already losing billions and subscribers counseling in protest, Kimmel's comeback is not just about late-night comedy anymore. It's about survival, it's about reputation, and whether Disney can handle the heat. Well, let's get into the story that everyone is talking about.
He's back talking about Jimmy Kimmel, and Trump loses again because Disney is going to reinstate Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel will have more to say on late night TV. Disney and ABC is going to bring back the comedian to a schedule starting Tuesday night. I know Donald Trump won't be happy, and the stations group as well. But remember that stations group said, hey, you know, he should apologize and he should donate to Turning Point USA. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I know this is a Trump taco without Trump even being involved, at least in the decision. ABC said they thought better of it. They suspended production on the program, they said, because they thought they were trying to cool the temperature in the country, and that they didn't want to further inflame a tense situation at an emotional moment for the country. It's a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Donald Trump is going to lose his mind because he loses again. Free speech wins. And I wonder if the protests and the threats of boycotts and people saying that they were going to boycott ABC and Disney and get rid of their Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN, you have the power. Trump is a loser once again.
Jimmy Kimmel returns tomorrow. Now, listen, not they was out here acting like, oh, we was just doing this just to make y'all mad. But that $4 billion absolutely got them some act right, didn't it? Because, baby, the way y'all was canceling Disney Plus and Hulu, baby, they was just like, listen, Linda, listen, please. Look, we was just going through some things. Like, please, they was offering pauses. Some of y'all were telling me that Hulu was keeping y'all on the phone 30 plus minutes trying to keep y'all as customers. That's how bad it was. And I got so many comments in my inbox telling me thank you for saying, you know, what I said about the credit card. If they're not letting you cancel, then you absolutely need to call your credit card company. Some of y'all had to call them because they was not letting y'all cancel. And that page was just a spinning. They had that page updated so many times because it was so many y'all going up there. They said it was millions of people that went ahead and canceled their accounts. Now, let me tell you something, especially when my kids found out how much we paid Hulu, they were like, everybody pick up a book. Because they was like, y'all pay how much for us to watch TV? Yeah, no. Now, here's the thing. They didn't issue their little cute ass statement or whatever and saying, you know, last Wednesday we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation and an emotional moment for our country. It was an emotional moment for y'all because you all were the ones who were wrapped in your emotions and could not understand the fact that people were not reveling in the fact that, you know, what happened to that man. But absolutely understanding that Kimmel didn't say anything bad. He really didn't. And y'all were too far in your emotions and your get back to understand what was actually being said. It was more against Wispy than it was anything else. But here we are. And the fact of you not understanding that your emotions don't dictate what's going on here in US dollars. Because not y'all gonna cut up in this economy and US dollars flipping around and people out here trying to make ends meet, but they just waving. And you want to cut them? Yeah, okay. Y'all was canceling trips, cruises, weddings. I saw 2 weddings that were canceled. And they were just like, you think you're going to put this drama on my nuptial day? I think not. But, yeah. Some of y'all really need to understand. In these companies, y'all might have y'all feelings about what's going on out here. But you need to understand when the collective community gets together. Because it didn't matter which side your ass was on. Everybody was like, I know y'all fucking lying, because you had people who were in some of these shows who had, you know, productions going on. They were like, don't support it. They're like, because if they can do that to him, it's only a matter of time before they do it to us. Don't support it. Now, here's the thing. With all of this money that was being, they also had the nerve to say, because they felt that some of the comments were ill-timed and insensitive. Again, that man, when it first happened, expressed his condolences to that man's wife and his children. And again, what he said was not even insensitive at all. It was what it is. And because Wispy got y'all out here in y'all's feelings and what have you, because he was the one who was just like, oh, you know, congratulations, ABC finally did it. And remember when he got Colbert and he told the 2 Jimmys, he was like, oh, y'all next. Seth, don't worry about it. You too. So this right here, we already knew shit like this was coming. But here's the thing, Sinclair, I heard they reached out to y'all for comment and y'all weren't available for comment. Because y'all were the loudest in the motherfucking room talking about he needed to apologize and then make a meaningful donation. So we feel like y'all should make a meaningful donation. Maybe y'all should drop some organizations in the chat so we can see what organizations they should make a meaningful donation to, since they were the ones who caused all this and since they were the ones who were trying to steamroll shit when they are the ones who are about to need regulatory clearance for that merger along with Nexstar. Yeah. You all really thought that y'all were going to throw your weight around and thought that, again, in this day and age, in this economy, with US dollars being scarce, that you were going to make these types of demands. And we thought that his show was low ratings. And see, I don't even watch Kimmel like that. But I know that, you know, collective community, when we get together, the fact of the matter is we do what we need to do so that in the long run, everybody's covered. It's not about, this or, what I do or what you do. It's about if we let them get away with this, what else will they get away with? Now, I was good with going back to DVD, so y'all turning Hulu and them back on, because I know Hulu was offering pauses and whatnot. They was like, listen, I know we need some time apart and, to see what else is out there, but don't leave us. We're going to let you put on this pause. So did y'all pause it or did y'all let it go? Because we let it go. But again, see what happens when you deal in your emotions? $4 billion. Y'all see we not playing? And if you ever need a real-time example, Target. They still over there. They hanging on by a thread. Because they thought that back to school was going to save them. Them children already back in school. And y'all still hollering about low quarters and what have you. America's not a real place, and y'all keep fucking around with people and their money and their little bit of entertainment and joy and see where this goes. Because again,
So guys, Jimmy Kimmel's return might be the most controversial comeback in late night history. Will audience forgive and move on, or will the outrage spiral even further out of control? Either ways, Disney just lit a fire under its own empire, and the flames are only getting hotter and hotter by the day. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Jimmy deserves his spots, or should ABC have pulled the plug for good?